All right, so thank you for joining us. We are reviewing a movie called The Jungle Book. I'm Eddie, and I'm joined today with
Valerie.
Mike.
And we're just going to jump right into it and kind of go over our history with Jungle Book. So, Mike, you want to start?
Sure. So if you guys don't know, Jungle Book is a remake of a 1967 animated Disney classic. I watched it probably 200 times as a kid, mostly just for bare necessities. I honestly walked into this movie not really remembering what the Jungle Book was about. I remember there was a tiger, I remember there's a bear, I remember the panther, but I don't really remember the plot at all. I just remembered the songs were kind of fun.
I agree. That's kind of where I started with it. I haven't seen it in so long. I just remember relating to it as a brown, scruffy kid and saying, hey, I love the Jungle Book, but outdoors and animals, and that was my whole thing. So I was super excited going into it just to see, oh, this could be really cool. And, seeing what they revamped it and excited.
Yeah, as far as me, I don't really remember watching this movie at all as a kid. I'm pretty sure I've seen it, but I didn't really like it, so I never rewatched it or was a fan. But seeing this one coming out, I heard a lot of good things about it, so of course, I had to go and see it.
Now here we are.
Now here we are. And so what did you guys think, just initially coming out?
I walked into the movie you kind of with nostalgia goggles full on. I was prepared to hear bare necessities, at least one song, but I wasn't like, if I didn't hear it, I wouldn't have been surprised, because with a live action movie, it's much, much more difficult to do songs and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I wanted to hear it, and I was pleased to hear it. I have a little stipulation about it, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. It was exactly what I expected, I guess. I expected it to be a remake of a cartoon, though. Lots of kids in the theater, just as I thought. Entertaining, and it was kind of, I think, what Mike and I are on the same page about. It was good. It was all right. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, what I was going to say was, because I guess you guys didn't really follow the movie too much with like trailers and stuff, right? And like
I intentionally tried to stay away from it.
They teased the songs in the trailer.
Oh, so
I heard the humming. I heard the humming, but I wasn't sure if that meant.
I knew for sure.
Yeah, they could have easily just been like hinted to it in the movie. They could have just done the humming and been like, as a cute thing for anyone who had seen the original movie. To tie it back. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the divisive topic of the movie so far. So we're going to jump into, what did you think about Mowgli?
This is my home!
All right, I hated him. There were parts that he did well, but overall, I think they didn't do a good casting job. He was whiny. He might have. I don't really remember in the original how Mowgli was. I think he was whiny in the original, so I guess they portrayed that well, but he wasn't a sympathetic character.
No, but here's what they did wrong, is that he had such a little kid voice, and yes, he was a child, but they gave him big kid lines, and it was so confusing, because I felt like there were many parts where it was this moment where he's like...
spoilers, by the way, just in case.
Yeah, spoilers. So he's standing, waiting, the tiger's staring him down in the eye, and he's like, I'm done running. I'm not afraid of you anymore. And it was just these big words coming from this little kid throughout the whole movie.
I'm not afraid of you anymore.
And not even that.
It's not, you can't take that seriously.
The kid sounds like... No, it's not his voice quality. He sounded like a 2000, like a millennial baby plucked from kindergarten, like maybe from
put into the
New York or something. It was just like, hey, what are you doing, Baloo? Like, I don't know. It was the weirdest feeling to me. He didn't look like someone who was raised in a jungle.
Well, I don't know. By the end of the movie,
he looks like someone who wore Converse and drank out of juice boxes. Like he never has sipped water from a river.
Yeah. So interesting. A note on that. I don't know if you noticed, but throughout the movie, he got progressively more and more dirty. So which is kind of weird to me, because why would he get dirtier if he's if he's in the jungle? Granted, he took a lot of tumbles and stuff throughout the movie. So I guess there was mud and whatnot.
So just really quick, what I was going to say was.
Yeah.
I felt being a kid growing up in the jungle, you would kind of mature a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So it kind of made sense to me. I thought it was fine. I didn't really mind that aspect of the more adult lines with the kid's voice.
But
it made sense.
I don't even think that it's his voice.
They could have phrased it differently.
To me, it's not even the adult. I expected him to be. wasn't convinced is what it was. And maybe
Yeah, they could have wrote it
I-
like slightly differently, but still portrayed the same
or
sort of
casted
tone.
it better. And that's,
Yeah, or just casted a slightly better actor.
You didn't like him, okay.
no.
No,
That
I
was
can't.
fine, that
I
was
couldn't.
fine.
I couldn't get beyond.
Let's jump into the rest of the cast.
Okay.
You want to go on
So,
the list?
all right.
There's a lot of big names here.
Yeah, so
Sure, Connor.
there were two characters that carried the movie, or well, really three characters
Stole
that
the
carried the
show.
movie.
Yeah.
Bill Murray as Babu did a phenomenal job.
And lucky for you, your new favorite hero, Old Blue here, just happened to be passing by.
I mean, it's Bill Murray. He hasn't actually done a lot of good roles
Yeah.
recently, but this one he knocked it out of the park. He did
Has he
a good
done?
job.
I don't know if he's done much voice work before either.
Yeah, I don't know actually his
That
voice
seems
work
kinda
history.
A weird casting, but I thought it worked.
Yeah, no, Babu is
Yeah.
or Baloo. I don't know why I said Babu. Baloo.
We're getting our monkeys and bears mixed
Sorry,
up here.
Baloo, guys. I swear I saw the movie.
I thought the villain, the tiger, Shere Khan.
Yeah.
They've given it a name. When was it we came to adopt man into the jungle?
Was the best. He was so, and I love what they did with him. I love that it wasn't just like, oh, I'm this big old jungle cat.
And it was
like,
dark,
he
too.
was dark and
Yeah.
frightening, and there's some scenes
Like when he
in
was
there.
playing with the cubs, that
Yeah.
was threatening. That was really, really.
'Cause he was voiced by Idris Elba.
Right,
Yeah.
and he did a great job. And I think for the voice casting, phenomenal for all of the characters. For the
Yeah.
snake, you got a little sexy Scarlett Johansson slithering
Yeah.
in Mowgli's ear.
It was
I thought
it was a short cameo, but
Yeah.
I liked the snake
And then
scene.
Ben
It
Kingsley.
provided backstory while also putting the main character in danger.
So did you like ScarJo?
yeah,
I did.
She did a good job.
Yeah.
I was a
You
little
said
worried.
I did. I saw the
Yeah.
minute she started talking, I was like, Scarlett Johansson.
And trust in me.
Yeah, I knew she was in, so I was expecting that, but
And if Christopher Walken as a giant orangutan
That I
doesn't
didn't-
change your life, then I don't know what will, because I love that. He's this big, enormous orangutan with the kind of Godfather thing going on.
cool.
I immediately got the Godfather vibe too. And
Okay.
it was one of the first things that popped into my head.
Tell you what I can offer you. I'm not very
Yeah.
good at Godfather. I'm not very good at it, but I was impressed.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
Let me
Are we
make
missing
you-
anybody else as far as?
the
Loved
Panther. The Panther.
Ben Kingsley.
Oh,
Yeah, Ben
Yeah.
Kingsley did
He was
a
nice.
phenomenal job. He
Nice
was
father.
he was like the he was the director of action, right? Throughout the movie, it was always like giving Mowgli a purpose to do something.
And I think he supported Mowgli a lot, and what
Yeah.
unfortunately the actor faulted in like establishing the relationship. It did give it that element that you're looking for of this little boy in the jungle with nothing but this connection with the animals that he's around.
Yeah, and the Panther really was the father figure, but he kind of neglected to actually play the father. Like the character tried to distance himself from Mowgli as
Right.
much as possible because he tried to play a lone wolf, so to speak.
Right.
You know,
Lone
kind of
panther.
So
Lone
as far
panther.
as the animals go, how did you feel about the look and the artistic
Beautiful.
style of the CGI?
Yeah, I had to look up if it was all CGI. I thought some of the animals might be real. It was phenomenal. The wolves, because of the fur, I could tell during the rain sequence
The panther though,
because of the way the
tiger,
water worked. But
No, some of those.
the panther was
The
fantastic.
birds. There were some very, very visually striking moments in the movie, at least.
Yeah.
And same thing, when they're talking, it's a little bit harder to make it. For God's sake, it's a talking wolf. But as
Yeah,
far as
it's-
with that, it looked great, and it was entertaining to watch, and I loved the CGI animals. I thought they did an awesome job on that.
They really worked.
They all worked, yeah.
Like even as an adult watching a kids film, I'm not even sure it was a kids film, but
Right.
but I was drawn in very well by the CGI.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely worked.
Did you have a favorite CGI creature that popped up?
And probably has to be Blue, right?
Well, I actually like the way the snake looked a lot. Like just seeing
Oh,
the
yeah,
scales and,
that
like,
was
the
good,
spine and
yeah.
stuff. Like just the way it was. I was like,
Oh no, but Christopher Walken as the orangutan.
orangutan.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
telling you,
I don't
change
know.
your life.
I changed my
because
opinion.
the fur was even like it was like messy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
missing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Call me Louis.
No, it has to be Christopher Walken as the orangutan.
I'd have to agree. It was a fun part
Yeah.
watching it.
All right. Speaking of fun parts, let's jump into our favorite parts. Mike, you want to jump on that first?
All right, favorite part probably has to be the orangutans, like the entire orangutan sequence. I think that it was fun. It was exciting. Like it had like a little bit of a dark tone of, you know, the orangutan being greedy and wanting everything. He wanted the red flower, which is fire, you know, all to himself, and he had all these like gold things and food and whatnot. And the chase sequence was fantastic. That whole sequence was my favorite out of the movie.
I think that was one of my favorites as well, but I actually really liked the way they did, same with you, the snake. So the snake scene where Mowgli is being tantalized by this enormous python, and the eyes,
Yeah.
she has these hypnotic eyes that are drawing him in, and it morphs into the story of how Mowgli actually got lost in the jungle. And the story is sweet, and it reminds you of something that we're accustomed to. We know how he got there, but it shows the father losing his life to the tiger, Shere Khan, and why he's coming after him. And it was a very sweet moment when we have the infant Mowgli meeting up finally with the panther and playing with him, and it was I thought they did that really well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, I guess I'd have to go with the crowd pleaser, the Baloo stuff. The intro with he's like coercing him into helping him out. It's like, I'm gonna hibernate, so
Yeah.
winter's coming pretty soon. I need my food.
That was fun.
So there was a lot of humor up until that was kind of dark. And
Right.
Yeah, it was all very Baloo brought the lightheartedness.
Yeah,
for
so once
sure.
he came in, I was like, okay, he's actually.
I don't know if
really
you
good
guys
at
felt
this.
thrown off by that, because I didn't know, because I hadn't kept up with the trailers, what kind of feel they were going through, if it was going to be more lighthearted and directed to kids, or if it was going to be dark and with animals that are vicious and violent and like a story of struggle. So I was a little thrown off because it was kind of like Eddie said, it was a little serious and slow and more realistic, and then we get this like Bill Murray character
having
thrown
fun
in
now.
there.
Yeah, it
I
was
was like, I'm ready. We're singing in the rain. but I
Yeah, it
didn't
felt
know
like
this
you
was
walked
coming.
into a different part of the jungle,
Yeah.
you know, that wasn't quite as affected by like
Yeah.
Shere Khan being all mean and stuff. So
I was gonna throw in. I guess we can talk a little bit more about favorite parts. I was just gonna bring up the chase scenes. Were
Yeah.
really tense.
Really good.
really tense, really well done. I mean, we talked about it a little bit. The camera work was good. The angles that they caught.
Exciting.
Yeah,
So-
it made you really.
Yeah, if Mowgli was good at anything,
Tense.
he was good at running. in this
He
movie.
was. That kid could run.
Honestly, that's probably why they got him. Is that he was. He was really good at doing that. All the action sequences were believable. I mean, I'm sure they had a stunt double, but
Yeah, so let's jump into what did you not like about the movie? What didn't work for you, Valerie?
For me, the ending, which is disappointing. But so if you guys remember the animation version, he actually meets his beautiful little girl and ends up going into the village. And to me, that's a huge part of the Jungle Book, is that he's this man cub that doesn't belong and goes through this journey and comes to this realization that he is also part man, and that this is where he should be, even though he's had this whole experience. And in the end, spoiler alert, they end up putting Mowgli just back with the pack, and that's it. And I felt like that was kind of...
Yeah, you
he's like
mentioned that,
part
too.
of the pack. Yeah, I didn't like that either. I thought that he should have gone to the main
dark side.
village.
And they just completely cut it out. They just completely cut it out, and I was like, oh.
But he wasn't quite part of the pack, though. He was. You know, he trained with the pack. You know, he was running with the
Yeah.
pack. But he didn't go up and he didn't like. He was reciting the wolf, like whatever the wolf
jungle
verse.
thing.
Yeah, the law of the jungle.
Right.
But he was with the panther and the bear at
Right.
the end. Like, so he kind of wasn't. He kind of wasn't in either.
I think he should have just gone and
Yeah,
found...
it really, I
He
think.
should have thrown another terrible, cute child actor in there and said, hey, Mowgli, follow me.
Yeah. I think they missed an opportunity to really like move the story forward, because I felt he was back at the beginning, like he didn't really belong anymore.
I agree, and there's a beautiful moment between the panther and Mowgli, and
Yeah.
Mowgli's trying to get up and fight with the pack, and he says, no,
Fight as a
fight
man.
as a man. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, he's
That's a great
gonna-"
line.
Yeah, and then he just ends up going back
And
with the
he,
animals.
he fights with it like a man, but yeah, he tries
It
to
just
stay
don't-
one with the animals, and it's this clash that I feel is never resolved.
So do you want to bring up one of your moments?
Yeah, so like I said, I walked in kind of with the nostalgia goggles on. I was expecting to be nostalgia'd, and you know, for the most part, I was. Like, there were a lot of parts I remember. You know, the orangutan bit, although it was admittedly darker. Bare Necessities was ruined for me because the kid was
No.
singing along. And the kid can't sing.
That doesn't matter.
It so matters. I wanted to hear the song.
No.
It
was a cute
ruined
moment.
for me.
Between Scruffy Boy and his band.
I agree. It was a cute moment. It's just the kid didn't have to sing for it to be a cute moment.
I'll agree that he was a bad singer. It
Doesn't
Yeah.
didn't fit.
It doesn't
but
matter.
to me, I accepted that it was just a kid having fun.
Yeah.
But I get why.
Yeah.
I get why.
I wanted to hear
Ruined.
Bare Necessities, and I didn't get to really hear the song because the kid, was just mutilating
I
it.
feel bad for your future children.
I'm just saying.
Okay. My least favorite part was almost like at the ending too, when they recited the long
Oh.
like 100 times.
Yeah.
The Law of the Jungle.
No,
Yeah.
I couldn't stand
I
it.
think they went through the whole thing like probably 3 times, and they did snippets of it a few times.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, is this the message of the movie, or I'm not sure why they had to stomp on that so much, but
So it is the message of the movie. It's like they're trying to say, well, the entire animal kingdom is a pack, right? Like the entire animal kingdom should work together to defeat, Shao Kahn and.
It just felt a little too
But
contrived.
it felt very contrived and super cheesy and corny.
Yeah.
And I was squirmy in my seat when they were doing that because I was like, oh God, are they really doing this again?
Yeah.
well, and plus we're from Reno, so our university has
Yeah.
the wolf pack.
Pack.
We hear that all the time. It's
Yeah.
like
So yeah,
it was kind of cool the first time, but they did it way too
Yeah,
much,
it
and I
was-
was just like, this is.
Because the whole story conveys that. You don't have to print it out again, otherwise you're like, well, we're
it's
not
just
that dumb.
exposition on top of the already
Exactly.
trying to show it kind of thing.
Exactly.
Also, if that's the message of the movie, why didn't he go back to with the humans? If you go with your pack,
He's with the pack.
That's
he's
what
with
I'm
the
saying.
pack.
They
With
made
his
a huge
pack.
mistake. The ending was, I
yeah.
did not like the ending, and that it was disappointing. As
It
far
really
as I'm
was.
concerned, the ending was very disappointing.
Forget about your worries in a strain.
What's that?
That's a song about the good life.
Let's talk about how you want to rate this movie. So I'll just start. I thought it was awesome, and because I don't recall the original, so I didn't really have anything to measure it to. And the CGI was great. The
CGI was
elements
great.
and it was quick paced and funny and some cool action scenes. So if I were to recommend this, I'd say this is worth paying like prime time tickets for like a Friday night, date night. Like, feel free to spend a full like $10, $12 on this. It's worth the money to me. So that's how I would rate it. It is worth full price.
I'm calling it matinee. Afternoon matinee. You want to go take your family, take your kids, take your significant other you've already been on a date with.
Yeah.
I'd say it was good. I'm glad I saw it, but definitely I'm paying reduced price for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say $5 Tuesday. So I really enjoyed the movie. It was fun. I'll take a date to it.
What's $5? It's $5, so you might as well. Thanks, Mike. That's what...
No problem. But there were a lot of things that rang hollow for me in the movie. I felt the ending was slightly off. Bare Necessity was a little ruined. But it was fun. Like I had a fun time. But it's not something I would go see like right away, right immediately. It's something I'd casually see on a Tuesday night. For me.
Okay, so I think that's it for now. That was our thoughts on the Jungle Book. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. All right, bye.
Bye.
Good. Okay, so let's just talk briefly about. So, how do you feel about all these reboots coming out, and what do we want to see next, if we want to see anything at all?
Yeah.
So I'm I'm fairly cynical, right?
Were you excited when you heard Jungle Book was being rebooted?
I was super cynical. I'm not gonna lie. Like it seems like a cash grab to me, and it is to an extent. But that being said, I still enjoyed it. It was fun. It was nostalgia for me. Would I like to see more reboots? Yeah, probably. I heard
that a little bit.
Yeah.
Reboots.
Oh, how I feel about them?
Yeah.
Sorry. So it's hit or miss with me because to me, I think there are certain elements that don't transfer from the animation, right? From like all these original stories of Sleeping Beauty and the Jungle Book, and some of them they try to put it in there for effect because we're used to the original story, but I think it can be better said without it. So I think it depends on what kind of look you're going for. You know what I mean? There are some reboots that I can see in my mind that I would be super excited to see on screen.
Yeah. Something that
should we talk about that? Yeah, what do you want to see next?
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. I was just saying, I think you mentioned that they're doing a Mulan. I didn't hear about that, but that would be something I would love to see. A rebooted live-action Mulan, I think, would work great. I don't know how they're going to do the Eddie Murphy dragon bits, but I mean, if I get to see... that's another thing. I don't know how they're going to do I'll Make a Man Out of You, because that to me is like iconic for Mulan. They go together.
But see,
interchangeably.
And that's where I don't relate any of the songs to seeing any of the movies. I would love to see Aladdin and have it set in this Arabic and this completely rich scene with sorcery and thieves and kind of violence. Because to me, if you really break down story, and to me, if you do it like historically, as far as like, I don't know, I think it can really have this real life like thrilling aspect to these stories. That's just how I would like to see them.
For sure. But so I agree that most of Aladdin would be very, very good. But
the hard part.
But so here's the issue: is that how do you do Robin Williams' Genie?
But why does it have to be Robin Williams' Genie?
Well, it doesn't. But here's the thing:
it,
is that one, you can't do it anymore because one, sadly he passed away. But two, it was all ad-libbed. He completely made up all the lines for Genie.
Well, and for me, I wouldn't even see the Genie as being a humorous thing. That's the thing. I would see
it if we're going... could be more serious?
I think that in Aladdin, if we were to do that,
possible.
It could be
remake.
Sinister, and it can be sorcerous, and you find this lamp, and it's not this helper. You know what I mean? It can be...
It can be like this double-edged sword.
Right.
So...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, for me, it wouldn't work. I don't know.
It could work.
I mean...
Yeah, I would just immediately picture Robin Williams as the Genie. So like having him
it would be that way
like
until you saw the trailers come out.
Yeah,
that's what's hard with reboots is we want to take our favorite parts, but if you're translating it, like you have to go with a different theme and a different angle for it. Otherwise, we're seeing a movie we've already seen, and the reason we do it is because we know the story and we like it. But let's look at it with a different lens on it and like a different twist and see what we can do with the story.
Yeah.